Hello, assalamu alaikum everybody. Hope you're all safe, sound, and healthy. And it is the 1st of September, and technically we have 2 more days of rain to go, unless it chooses otherwise, and then it will be the end. This is the last spell, which is also numbered as the ninth spell of this monsoon, right? And it's 9:19 p.m. And the reason why I picked up the mic and then put it down and then picked it up and then put it down and now again I'm picking it up is because I am, as I said, fed up. I am so fed up of what this government and this army, their antics, what they're doing, how they are, constantly stamping on the dignity of the people. Remember, for the past many episodes of my podcast, I've been constantly talking about the right to live a dignified life and about humiliating people, ridiculing people, about stamping on their dignity. And you know what? This wasn't just off the top of my head, because now these people, the victims of the flood, they are literally coming forward and they are saying this themselves. So, okay, you may have thought that, oh, dignity, she's on and on about dignity. It's a luxury. Well, at least you know now that human dignity, as I said, is one of the major factors of humanity. This is one of the major factors that God has talked about when He says that you will be judged by the way you treat another human being. And if his dignity is hurt in any way, then that punishment that you will get will be one of the worst of its kind. And there's a reason every living being has the right to live with dignity. Animals, plants, people, it doesn't matter. The minute we stamp on it, we have already committed a major irreparable sin. And as I said, you are seeing the repercussions now when people who have lost their farms to water, to the flood, villages that have been submerged. Actually, it's, I think, more than 30,000 actually that have been devastated and submerged. And then up to date, we have had almost 500 almost 500 lives that have been critically injured, and we have had about 874, and this is a cautionary number of people whose lives have been taken. Okay, we have suffered more damage than India. You can blame the cross-border water issues and whatever. We are on the lower side, India's on the higher side. Obviously, water comes from above to below. When you're on the lower side and you know that water comes from above to below, it is your duty, your responsibility to take extra measures, is something I've been talking about. I've been yapping about this thing for a long time now. I can't keep on going on about it. Now, when you look at the people and how they have suffered, and they are still suffering because the water levels are not receding, the water levels are not receding. Obviously, when you have the kind of water levels that go up to 8-9 feet high, it will take time for them to get sucked back into the soil or to go back to its, because another thing I'm glad is that people have stopped smiling. Yeah, you're going to say, are you a sadist? No. The fact that finally the people of Pakistan have stopped smiling, to me, is a very good sign. It means they have found their self-respect, they have found their dignity, and they have found it necessary now to stop smiling. It means they are finally getting serious. The fact that people are openly reprimanding the government, despite the fact that they know that the government is going to retaliate by kidnapping them, by imprisoning them, which they are doing even now. Imagine now, the victims of the flood are pissed off, they're frustrated, and yet they are being threatened by the police. Yeah, because Maryam Nawaz, the bitch of the century, has given the orders that nobody should dare say anything about what we're doing or not doing. Nobody should dare reprimand us. And as I've already mentioned it on social media, in writing, I've blogged about it, and many people have reported about it. And many of the real journalists, not the touts, the real journalists have picked up on the people's social media where they've openly talked about it, and where or where they have messaged them or called them and sent to them the videos of what's going on, and they have reported it diligently. And you will see, as I said, I've mentioned it again previously in my previous podcast, if you look at the people, if you listen to them, if you hear them out on social media, you will find out there has been no help from the government. The only help that you can see is basically ED. And ED is always the only help you always get. Yes, you do have Rescue 1122, which, is part of the government, but they're not, again, because Chinyot is one of the most heavy hit places, Chinyot and Chang right now. These are the two most heavy hit places. As we know, Narwal, Hafzabad, Sialkot, Kasur, they've all been hit. Lahore's been hit. But the devastation near Chenab's is worse than even Lahore. So you can imagine, just imagine that the devastation there in Chinyot and Narwal is even worse. Why? Because, as I said, those are basically farming areas. That's agricultural land. And people depend on their cattle, they depend on their farms. This is everything they've got. Not only have they lost everything, but they don't, many of them, okay, fine, many of them may have the good fortune to be able to take shelter with their relatives. Again, for how long? In fact, so many people who left, who were evacuated, went back to the flooded areas just to see if their animals and their poultry, their cattle, their dogs, are they okay? Are they safe? And they got stuck in the flood again, only to be rescued back again. Imagine the desperation, the frustration. It's true India suffered a lot of damage too. And it's true that India has this bad habit of giving inaccurate news. It is true that the damage in India's Punjab is just as bad, but it's not worse than the one here. But it is bad. India and the international media and independent sources are all trying to say, oh, again, you forget India is a huge country. If you compare it that way, obviously India's damage is less compared to Pakistan. But if you forget the size of the country, and if you consider the amount of dams that India was busy making to hoard all this water, then you would find that based on that alone, India has suffered a huge loss as well. I'm sorry, I do not consider it successful. I think India has failed miserably to contain its flood situation as well. And that is why it all came, obviously, the end point is Pakistan. The reason why Pakistan is more prone to flooding is because we don't just have our own flooding, we have to deal with the flooding that comes from India. It is a fact, like it or not. And as I said, because we're in the lower region, we have the responsibility of making added or taking added measures, more, double the measures than India. Because it doesn't matter how many measures India takes, we have to take double, triple the measures because we are on the lower end, which means water, again, will always flow through us. It's a fact. The fact that for 70 years these people didn't do anything, the fact that they disrupted Imran Khan's plans when he was actually beginning all these projects, keeping in mind the previous flood situations and hoping that this time he could curb it in time. The fact that they deliberately put a stop to all constructive projects should tell you what these people have come to do to your country, But, okay, now you come to Maryam Nawaz, who is stamping on the dignity of the people, and she is rubbing people the wrong way too, as in I've written a bit, as I said, I've already blogged about it, and the end point of that blog and all of this is that I think I would request to the international media to highlight the fact that Maryam Nawaz has been so atrocious towards the victims of the flood, and what she's doing and the antics that she's been playing, she and her whole government and the army, and also that World Bank, IMF, and other countries should not give a cent, not a cent, to these people in the name of flood relief, in the name of aid. Not a cent. I swear the Pakistanis are not going to be grateful for that. And in fact, if anything, we will think that you are fellow culprits. We will think that you are fellow criminals in their corruption, your partners in their crime. Why? Because you know very well that that money is not going to be given to the people of Pakistan. You know that any supply, any aid that you give is not going to go to the people of Pakistan. Any money that you give is not going to go to the people of Pakistan. The money is going to go straight into their accounts, and the equipment, the shelter, the aid, the supplies, they're going to be sold off at 10 times their price. And again, that money will be pocketed. Not a dime worth of aid is going to go to the people of Pakistan. Never did and never will, as long as this government is in place. So if you knowingly give them aid or loans, it means you're partners in crime. And don't you dare come asking for any debts to be cleared by the people of Pakistan. We don't owe you shit. Not a single cent of whatever has been taken from the IMF or the World Bank has ever gone to the people of Pakistan, and you know it. But you still make us pay for it. So you can keep your aid and you can keep your loans to yourself. Okay? We do not want it. And I'll tell you that right now, our own people locally, the Pakistanis who are trying to help the victims of the flood, they are being stopped. Yes. People who are trying to take aid and food and supplies, people, individuals, groups, NGOs, charity organizations, social workers, anybody and everybody who are trying to get aid through are being stopped. Yeah, you were wondering, is this Palestine? Remember how I just told you quite a number of podcasts ago, and I've in fact told you time and again, that our government, they're not Muslims and they're not Pakistanis. They're American slaves or minions, and they're Zionists. They have taken a page out of the Zionist book and they're applying every single thing on us. These people are the actual true kafirs, the kafirs that we are supposed to be fighting against. They're right here, sitting on top of us, stealing from us, taking everything from us. No compensation, as I said, for any of the flood victims. And they're stopping supplies from going through. Why? No, we have to stick Maryam the bitch's face, the piglet. We have to put the stamp of the piglet Maryam Nawaz right on every single bag and every single sack of aid that goes through. Otherwise, it cannot go through. And so many people went back because they're like, I'm sorry, we're the ones giving the aid. Who the frack are you to put your stamp on our bags and on our food containers? And many people went back. And then there were some people who were like, okay, as long as it reaches the people, who cares? Just let us through. And what did they see? What did they find out later on? That the police had taken all those supplies, and under the instructions of Punjab government, under the instructions of Maryam Nawaz, they sold all those supplies. So once again, nothing went to the people in need. And when they started complaining about it, the Punjab police decided to put charges against them on behalf of Punjab government. Yes, the Punjab government is now filing charges against all those people who spoke out about it. These are civilians. They don't belong to any political party. These are just civilians who were trying to help their friends in need. Okay? As I said, Chinyot has been hit the worst. Chung has been hit the worst. Things are so bad that people don't even know if there's anything left. Lands, obviously, all the harvest is gone. Whatever they had harvested, whatever they had planted, whatever they had sown, everything is gone. Okay. Nothing. There's nothing. It's not like they can get back and say, okay, at least we've got our grains, at least we've got our plants, at least we've got our harvest. We can sell this and we can start. No, they'll have to start from scratch, and it will take again another whole year before they can get anything done, or any revenue, basically. A whole year. And till then, while they're displaced, they have nowhere to go, because remember, the first thing that this government did was close down all the shelters that Imran Khan was making. They have nowhere to go. Those who can manage to stay with their relatives, are managing. Those who can get a quarter somewhere on rent are managing. Those who can, but it's so tough. They don't have the clothes. They don't have any clothes with them except the ones they have on their bodies. They don't have their money. They don't have. They didn't even have time to grab anything. Seriously, And as usual, again, everybody finally is saying the same thing. That just shows that people are not stupid. People have endured, which I always found very wrong. People have endured and tolerated these bitches for more than 50 years. But that doesn't mean that they're stupid. And now they are showing you that they're not stupid. They are telling you that they know of all the corruption you did. They're telling you that they know about your, urban planning corruption, in which you took up to 600 billion rupees. Imagine, up to 600 billion rupees taken by RUDA, which, remember, I talked extensively about RUDA, which is the Ravi Urban Development Authority, which is a government body. They had taken that much money and promised to the people that, oh, you'll be safe because we're going to put, the bund here, and the river can never come on this side and all. And now everybody is speaking up that, you see, the river is going to come back to its natural course. This was originally all part of the river. It's going to come back where it was originally, Why did you do this? Why did you give false assurances? Remember, I've talked about that already also, so you can refer to my previous podcast on this. And now people all over the country, they keep on and on saying, it's the government's responsibility. The government must do this, but we expect nothing from the government. People are doing, as remember I told you, people are making makeshift gadgets on their own to help transport people and animals out of the flood region. If individuals who have nothing are making makeshift gadgets out of whatever they see and are managing to transport hundreds of people and animals out of those flooded areas, why is it impossible for the government authorities to do it with all their training, with all their equipment, with all their helicopters and their boats and their whatever it is that they have? Why is it that those people are not there? Why is it that you're finding ED people managing to reach wherever they get calls from, and you find the rescue people managing to reach wherever they can get the calls on, but the actual authority, the PDMA, is completely, it's not there, as if they don't exist. And the people of Chinyot, they are also right, because one of the worst impacts that happened was loss of network. So they couldn't even call for help. So they were just stranded there until some of the rescue people just passed through, and then they found out that, oh, there are people here. Then from them they found out, oh, there are more people here. Then from them they found out, oh, there are more people here. Imagine. People stuck there with no way to communicate, no way to tell anybody else that we're stuck here. Listen, remember, as I said in my previous podcast, that it is amazing in what conditions human beings manage to survive. It's amazing. But that does not mean that human beings should be subjected to such undignified modes of living, to survive in an undignified manner. What are you telling their children who are seeing this, going through all of this, going through this crisis? What are you telling them? Is this their life now? If they get nothing, if God forbid, if some of them go through the worst ever crisis from which they cannot get back up, what are they going to do? What has the government done to ensure that they can get back up on their feet? As I said, with this government, people who lived in a comfortable poverty line, but comfortable because they never slept hungry, they have gone beyond the poverty line. The lower middle class has dropped to the poverty line. The upper middle class is dropping to the lower middle class. The only people who are sitting fine and dandy are your political, your political and business elites who are basically integrated into one another, the upper echelons of your society. They're the only ones. Everybody else is just going down and down and down. And this is why it's getting more and more difficult for the people of Pakistan even to help those who are devastated by the flood, because everybody's struggling. And despite that, the people are still trying to help. And who's intervening? The government. Punjab government is intervening through the Punjab police, telling them that no aid will go through unless you put the bitch of the century's face on the bags. Are you serious? And once again, I'm going to ask this question now. This is once again another opportunity that the people have to push back, to retaliate, to unite, and to teach this government a lesson and to drag them down from the government, to drag the army down, to drag the politicians down. Indonesians went and burnt their parliament yesterday. What are you people doing? You people are still, I'm thanking God you're no longer laughing. Seriously, I am thanking God you're no longer laughing, and that now you're very, very serious, and that now you are actually talking about how this is, a curse from God for the way people have been behaving, and how this is a serious matter, and how the government is this and and finally you people are speaking up with a lot of seriousness and a lot of anger. Thank God for that. But isn't this the time to retaliate again? This is yet another opportunity that the people of Pakistan are going to lose. A perfect opportunity to stand up against these people and drag them down. Why are you performing for them again? You are victims. You're victims of the flood. And Maryam Nawaz comes and she makes the rescue people, the very few rescue people that were actually doing their job, she makes them drop everything and stay there for 6 hours so that she can come and do her photo shoot. 6 hours. Do you know how many more losses can occur in 6 hours? Those people are on a rescue mission. They're doing their job. Why should they stop whatever it is that they're doing and stay there for 6 hours for the piglet princess to come and do a photo shoot? And again, you victims of the flood, why did you stand there and wait for her? That's what I don't get. I still don't. That is my problem with the people of Pakistan again. Why did you have to tolerate that bitch again? You should have walked off. You should have just walked away. And yet, no, the women are standing there with their children, and Maryam Nawaz is literally snatching. I mean, if you look at it, she doesn't even have any gentleness. She's literally snatching the children from their mother's arms and grabbing onto them and saying, "Oh, let's do a photo shoot." Like, are you serious? There is a, you know what? She is mentally retarded. I'm going to say it again. And if you do not believe me, you can call in any psychiatrist and they will tell you I'm right. This woman, there is something very wrong with her head. Very, very wrong. The height of shamelessness. This is one of those things that the Prophet said that, these are the sins. These are some of the sins of the parents that come through the children. Remember, haram ki kamai. Because Maryam's grandfather never earned halal in his life. His children didn't earn halal. And now their children, as you can see, this is how children of haram ki kamai come out to be. Those who earn haram, this is what their children come out to be. Maryam Nawaz is the very brilliant example of this Islamic teaching. She is the product of her familial haram ki kamai. And her children are going to be products too, as you will keep on seeing. This woman is demented and she really needs to be removed and she needs to be hanged. I'm telling you, she cannot be allowed to live. Actually, nobody in this current government should be allowed to live. If you really want, it's simple. Either Pakistan exists or these people exist. You choose. It's as simple as this. Stop tolerating the police. Stop tolerating the politicians. In fact, this is the right time for you people to start smacking them around. Smack the bejesus out of the police. Smack the bejesus out of the politicians. Smack the bejesus out of the army. And they will take it. If we stand united and push back, believe me, they will turn and run. The only reason that people have never been able to drag these a-holes down is because people have never been united. People are always looking out for themselves when it comes to this point. You have a few 100,000 here, a few 100,000 there, doing protests, as I said before. Remember, I've said that a million times. It doesn't work. The whole country has to come together once again. And this again is that time. This is that time where the whole country can come together once again and just beat the bejesus out of these people. Again, you see, it's a matter of dignity. As a dignified, awakened nation, we should know that this is the time to retaliate properly. But again, we will not. We will endure this as well. You've got your fellow Indonesians. They're Muslims. They're telling you what being a Muslim is. They're telling you how a dignified Muslim nation acts. Look at Hong Kong. Hong Kong's out in the streets again. Yeah, Hong Kong's back out in the streets again. Please, people, stop wasting opportunities. These are bona fide opportunities for us to stand united against these people. If you really, really, really care about your country and your future, stop looking at their faces. Stop indulging these demented a-holes. Stop doing your photo sessions with them, please. Just leave them. Just leave that place and go. Don't wait for them. Don't perform for them. Don't endure them. And if you have to stay, then fight. This is me signing out. Khuda Hafiz.